So, I'm going to go over it now. You guys already know this, right?
Yes.
So it's all good. So, we have different kingdoms, you know. One we haven't talked about yet is coming on Wednesday. We're going to Protista. We'll go into it. It's going to be Animals Day, Protista, then we're going to do fungi, and then we end up with bacteria. So we're describing each different group as we go. But for Protista, I only give a few examples, really common kind of examples that are well, they're really big, and they're pretty distinctive. So I thought this was perfect for your practical, because they're so distinctive. And the only slides I will possibly put on your practical are these. And the only questions I will ask on these things are what I wrote down here. So it makes it pretty straightforward, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Should not be too bad. So anyway, first of all, in the kingdom, we have one phylum known as the amoeba. And you can see amoebae. You can see amoeba. It's got the big parapodia kind of situation going there, where it kind of creeps around. This is the one, this Anamoeba histolytica. It's the one that causes mucus. This is the one you get when you are, it's not traveler's diarrhea. This is serious kind of diarrhea. You often get it when you go to places that store water on the roof. You with me here?
Mm-hmm.
Certain places, they don't have regular water like you do, with wonderful sanitized water. They have water that they store on the roof, and they pour the water out, and then they wash the lettuce with it. And so if you were to go to Mexico and get the taco, right, and you had the lettuce, and they wash the lettuce, you would get the amoeba, and it's a really nasty illness. They actually don't insist in your liver after a while, after they've been there a while. These are protozoans, so they're not bacteria. Regular antibiotic treatment is not going to work on something like this, right? You've got to have a special kind of eukaryotic poison that is strong enough to kill it, but not so strong that it kills you. So it's a really painful thing. You get these. I've had this before. They're terrible. It smells bad. That's all I got to say. It smells bad. And you got to take a suppository where they stick it. You're going to be driving your car. You're going to have to stop. It'll be your first time you ever poop in front of other people. Because there's nothing you can do unless you want to poop in your car. You're going to either poop in your car or you're going to poop outside your car. You have two choices here, and that's all there is to it when you get this thing. And it's going to stink terrible, and it's explosive, uncontrollable diarrhea. So that's what that is. So just want to point that out to you. Here's a lovely one, Giardia. You've got to be really careful getting Giardia. I know the ex got it. She got it when she was at the Peace Corps, and she still has it. It's strange because it does not have mitochondria. It's like a separate form of life on the planet. Giardia. It doesn't fit into any really group. They got him here in the phylum Diplomanid. And notice these names. Phylum Amoebae, right? Diplomonad, right there. Remember that phylum? Protista, Giardia, okay? And it's going to live in mammals' intestines. Once you get it, and again, it can go to your liver too. It there also. But goes in your intestines, and they also call it beaver fever. Because you'll go up to some place, way up on top of the Olympics or some place like that, and you're out hiking, and you're really thirsty, but you think, oh, the water is so pristine up here, I think I could just drink it like it is. No, you can't, because who's going to be there? Beavers, or other kinds of little mammals and things like that, and they tend to harbor it. And so that's when you get it. And it is a nasty one. It is nasty. And once you get it, you got it for a long, long time. And the way it works is you're sitting there walking around, feeling good. Next moment later, you're heading for the toilet. And there you go. All right, here's a particularly nasty one. It's going to call it vaginitis. Need I say more? Phylum Paraballs. And this is Trichomonas vaginalis. Really nasty. Really nasty. Right, moving right along. We now are going to move on to the euglenoids. So in Protista, look at these guys. Don't they look like little worm or little fish-like worms? That's Trypanosoma. It's African sleeping sickness. You get it from the CC fly. You familiar with this? CC fly? It's a little tiny fly. It's a crazy fly whenever it comes out. Sitting there one moment, there's nothing, and the next time it's like the sky just erupts with the sound of and it comes down and it attacks you, it gets you. There's nothing you can do to get away from these guys. They rip you up, and they leave you with these things. And so by the next day or so, these guys are just teeming in your blood. And you go back and forth. So what happens is it's got a special coating on the outside of its body that's exactly like yours. You cannot recognize it. Okay? set like that. And then they'll grow and grow and grow, and then all of a sudden, voila, your body recognizes that there's this foreign invader eating your red blood cells, and they go through this terrible, terrible fevers and stuff like that, and then the cycle begins again. So that's African sleeping sickness. It's a really nasty one. Okay, moving along. Here is one that doesn't cause any kind of illness or anything. These are the ciliates. Really common. Many different kinds of ciliates we have in fresh water. They look like that. That's stentor, which looks like a little trumpet. And then we've got paramecium. General idea with paramecium, it's got a macronucleus and it's got these micronucleus. Evidently, when you trade these out, you can make that this creature go young or old. Strange guy did research this whole time. His name was Ofterheide. He did tremendous research on these guys, and what he was doing was changing the nuclei out. And he found that if you change the nuclei from one to the other, it went from being really old to really young. And so we got a lot of money to do research on that thing. Maybe that could work for us too. But these are single cell things, so I guess it didn't work out. So anyway, so this is number one, ciliates, because they have, what do you think? Cilia. This one has
Flagella.
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 And then we move on to the algae. And you got phylum Rhodophyta, which are the brown algae. And you can identify them because they are
Brown.
bingo. That works. That can work. And then we have the red algae. Red, Rhodophyta. Rhodophyta. Bay. Wait a second here. Oh my gosh. Big mistake. Probably won't test you on that one. Phaeophyta is supposed to be brown algae. Dr. Sweet Bullet. He didn't really blow it since he caught himself. He didn't totally blow it. Rhodophyta is red. Phae means brown. Rhodo means red. And of course, chlor is going to mean green. So we got three different kinds. This is red. This is the one that people often eat. It's nori. You guys ever eat that? Tastes like fish.
Yeah.
With the rice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Yeah, it's really good for you. And it's really common. You could probably go out on the coast and get your own. Yeah, but it's like $5, right? Is it up? Not too much. Not too much. Cheaper than a lot of stuff. But anyway, so there you go. And you also have green algae. And you can do
The Phaeophyta.
ulva.
PH.
Ulva is the one that has a big green leaf
AE.
to it. And there's another one called Enteromorpha, which is long and skinny like intestines.
Yeah, I don't know.
They use that too. I tried that. It was supposed to be really nutritious for the green algae, and I made it, and it tasted.
Was that what you tried to? You said something at the beginning of the quarter that was like the new thing, and that you got it and you hadn't tried it yet, but then you never told us what it was. There's a new.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
Is that what it was? Seaweed? Oh. Yeah, that tastes like fish too.
It tastes like fish.
Yeah.
So I didn't say anything else about it.
I have one. I have seaweed with they look like crackers kind of, but it has wasabi on it. It's dried seaweed. Yeah.
Wasabi might be good with that. I might try to take
It still
down the
smells
fish.
like the fish though, so
Yeah,
but
it
you
still
can taste the wasabi. Mhm.
I don't know.
I'll bring it
I don't know.
on Thursday.
Anyway,
Yeah.
green, red, brown. I'm sorry I didn't get that Phae off.
There it is. Hey.
What?
Phaeophyta.
Phae. Phae. Road. Or. Now they have put this one in with the plants. It's now actually in the kingdom planted. See that? Isn't that weird?
Is it because
Yeah.
it's green? Because it has the
No,
core.
they did evolutionary studies on it, and it's the ancestors of the plants. It is the actual ancestor. They can track the chemicals and right on up to plants. It's really weird. But they moved it out of Protista, per se. All right, let's move right along. All right, so we good with those? Pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
We now move to the fungi. And you know, they changed these division names from Mycota to Mycetes to Mycota to Mycetes. I've seen like 3 cycles of this. I think we're at Cetes now, right, in the book? Anyone look at it? Is it Cetes or Cota? We're going back to Coda? It's almost like they're trying to sell books. That's why I keep wondering why they keep changing this division.
It's Coda. It's like
Is it Coda again?
that's what the internet says for
Coda.
most fungus.
It was my CDs a couple of years ago. And then we went back to Coda. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're just Basidio. Basidio, Division Basidio. And this is really important. First one here, it's got, well, first of all, we got mycelium, right? Mycelium is the body of the fungus. I understand the biggest one was they found in something like France. And I think it was like miles across. And what it consists of is hyphae. And these mycelium is just a huge, expansive thing. It can grow underground, or it can be really small. Sometimes it'll have a very tiny mycelium. Sometimes it'll have a really big one. But when you look at it, there'll be little tiny hyphae that go through. Sometimes they'll be haploid. Sometimes they can be diploid. And sometimes you can have, and they don't do male or female. They do like plus and minus. And I guess plus, of course, would be the male, right? And minus would be female? I don't know. They don't know. How can you talk about a male fungus from a female fungus? There's a plus and there's a minus. And the plus and minus nuclei will just come along and they'll just live like plus with the plus and minus nucleus. And then eventually they'll come to a point where the nuclei come together and they go diploid and then they can make their fruiting bodies and stuff. It's kind of weird. Fungi are fascinating. You can take a whole class on this. When I was an undergraduate, I always wanted to do that. It's fascinating. But anyway, so we got mycelium is the fungus body. Hyphae are all these little fibers you see. And then sometimes we will have a sporing body.